Hello and welcome everybody to All the Rage Sports Podcast. Today we are following up our good old wild card weekend with my lovely panel of analysts. With me as always, I got Jace Junk, Andy Stewart, and Kevin Robinson. I'm the only one.
I have sweet tea.
Oh, I thought that was a rum and coke.
The Crown Royal.
That's a big ass rum and coke.
That's the kind of rum and cokes my dad drinks.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a Brian Baden rum and coke right there.
We have to have a Jesse Baden sponsored hydration break or something.
Yes.
Hammer the whole fucking thing.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about all the wild card games. We'll kind of look into each wild card game, do some analyzing on them, talk about the teams that moved on and what we're going to expect with them this week. We will go over the brackets. My bracket is completely toast now.
We will go over each other.
We'll go over each other's brackets a little bit. Tick check, woo! All right.
I'd rather get under. Whoa, hey, what?
That's just because you're getting sweaty.
Yeah, you don't like a lot of movement. So
Yeah.
It's
I'm
all
not
about
really
friction.
into the work part of it.
It's all about friction with this guy. That's all he needs.
And so we are going to talk about those and see whose bracket is still alive and whose bracket is absolutely garbage fire, aka my bracket. And then we'll make our picks for the division round here at the end, division round of the playoffs. We also are going to look into some of the coaching moves that have already occurred. Jason Garrett getting dragged out of Dallas, kicking and screaming and literally crying. And then McCarthy just basically walking by him while he's crying on the corner going, "Hey, see you later. That's my locker now."
Yeah, just like, don't cry on these shoes. They're leather.
Yeah.
Gator
Sorry,
skin, baby.
that's my room in Jerry's guest house now. You're gonna have to get shit out.
You're going to have to get out.
They had a sleepover. I saw that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they told
spent the
ghost
night-
stories.
It's safe to say that McCarthy has now assumed all of Garrett's positions.
I was gonna say the only ghost stories Jerry Jones has to tell is about fucking Jason Garrett's tenure as Dallas' head coach.
Going to see Jerry Jones's house like going to Neverland. That's
So we're talking a little bit about those. Andy has some fun facts about Larry Fitzgerald that he was digging up on for some reason, and then Jace found a odd article about scandal about some DraftKings stuff. So we'll dig into that slightly here, and then I think Kevin has something to talk about with Gardner.
Kevin has some bullshit thing he's going to talk about again.
He's going to talk about.
Everybody cares about.
Mediocre quarterback with a mustache.
Yeah.
And Georgia.
Hey, he's going on an
Daisy
RV
Dukes.
tour.
And so we'll talk about that. But yeah, so all that and more is coming up here on All the Rage Sports. All right, guys. It was
lovely
a good week.
podcast.
So everybody's bracket is pretty much how do I say it? Fucked.
No,
My
Jesse's.
my bracket's pretty much fucked.
Don't bring
So
us down with you.
Let's just kind of don't bring me down. Let's start with the Titans and Patriots game, the one that I so reluctantly had to defend the Patriots, and
You fucked up.
I
really
fucked up,
bad.
and you know what? I'm happy I defend them, because here's why. I hated them. I yell about them. I fucking bitch about them constantly. I talk about how I wish,
And the one time you take them,
Brady's
fucking wrong.
feet.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
a good reason to defend.
Well, hey, if it means that I have to take them every time so they go out and throw a dumpster fire like that on the field, then I will do it for the good of the people.
That's a great point. That's actually a great point.
January of 2002, and this wouldn't have ever happened to any of us.
Yeah. Yes. So I am very happy that everything I said was wrong. Or actually, it wasn't wrong. They tried to do exactly what I said, but they failed horribly at it.
Can you just shut your hole for 1 second, Andy, Kevin? Let's all just take our victory lap. And let's all just lament. I wish this was like around the horn where I could be like reality and I can just mute Jesse. So
Black and white them.
Let's just recap what happened in this game. What did us collectively three, say happened? Tannehill was going to play well and do just well enough to win them a game. Okay, so that's check one. Check two. They were going to run the ball all over them.
Run the fuck out of the ball.
What did Derrick Henry do?
206 yards, I do believe.
Check.
Something like that. Check three.
Hydration
He
break.
also said that they were going to manage the clock and keep the ball out of Brady's hands, and they weren't going to give them time. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen executed. Yeah, big check on that one. I believe between that third down and the punt they had late in the fourth quarter,
he drained 2
Vrabel
minutes
drained
off
a
the clock.
minute and 45 seconds off the clock with a combination of taking timeouts and delay of game penalties, and like there was a false start.
There was a false start and then another delay game.
Belichick had 2 strokes and shit his pants in that period of time.
He did
because
too.
he's sitting
It was
there.
the most
Because
amazing
he's
thing to
freaking
watch.
out.
He's going, you motherfucker. We talked about this one time, and you're using it against me. I saw a
He
stat.
used it this year. Belichick did, and sat in the sideline
Against
laughing.
the Jets or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
laughing his ass off because he did it, and he drained
got hit
2
with
minutes.
his own. I saw a stat before the game that made me chuckle because you guys were kind of making fun of me for the Mike Vrabel thing. He's now like 0-6 against current player or former players or assistants.
Yes,
Like Brian Flores, Vrabel. There's a couple of them. I can't remember the list, and I don't remember where it was. But the last 6 guys to come off his team or his coaching staff have all beaten him.
He's played his assistants or people off of his coaching staff 12 times, and I believe now 13 times now, and I believe he's 7-6 against them is what the total is. But the last 6, I believe, are the ones he's lost.
Now after that game to Vrabel, he's lost 6 straight.
Or he's 6-7 against us. Yeah. And then he's lost like 6 straight to his assistants.
And Jace, you missed like the 4th point that I said that he was going to throw to his tight ends and do a lot of checkdowns, throwing to the running backs and shit.
Yeah.
If you look up Tannehill's stats, I'm pretty sure he threw like 16 yards to actual wide receivers.
Yeah.
So it was some ridiculously low number.
The one prediction I did make, I did say, A.J. Brown had a chance to come out and make Stephon Gilmore look like a donkey, and he really didn't. So,
Gilmore also was hurt in half of that, so there really was an opportunity to make him look like a donkey. But
but regardless, like Andy said, I'll look up the stats now. But he's right; it was literally hand Henry the ball and check down to the tight end.
Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith, pretty much.
I am 100% thrilled that it happened this way, and I will gladly take any kind of ridicule I have over me defending them. Like I said, if me defending the Patriots causes them to lose like that, I will defend them every week so they lose like that.
I hate Jesse Baden's terrible picking causes them to lose.
Yes, I swear to God, I hope that's a thing.
My biggest thing about this whole situation here is the 3 of us, between me, Kevin, and Jace, we came out with this game plan that they had to stand by. They did it, and they fucking won. So if we could see that, what the fuck? Mike Vrabel had
who?
The thing is, the Patriots knew what the plan was. They just didn't have the ability to stop them. They knew it. Past year Patriots would have been able to stop that.
Did Kyle Van Waven play?
Are you saying everything that I said to you last week, Jesse?
Yes. Precisely.
That's what you're currently doing?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm 100% saying that.
2 things, and then let's wrap up on this game, move on to the next one. I just want to say it was so beautiful, that stretch of clock Vrabel took off. I could just picture Belichick in his head. He was the Arthur meme. He was literally just so goddamn mad.
Screaming at the refs.
The Patriots got the ball back after that beautiful punt. Oh my God, that was
Oh.
Rolled it to the one. Baby.
Rolled it to the one
Jack
because Edelman
so
left.
hard it
All-pro.
hit the
All-pro.
ceiling somewhere. after
Fucking
that.
Edelman left, going to
That was a rugby
receive
kick, by
it
the
for
way.
They were
some
trying
reason.
They were banking on the block, but he didn't get it, and he got the punt off so quick, and it just rolled
It
It was
perfectly.
a
rolled,
rugby.
it
It was a
rolled.
rugby kick, end over end. It was. That's why Brett
Also-
Kern's an all-pro.
Here's my second thing. Quick debate. Since me, Andy, and Kevin all picked the perfect game, who out of all of us, Jesse, you have to pick offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach?
For you three?
Yeah, for us three.
Jace is head coach by far.
Jace is probably the head coach. Andy, you would probably be my offensive coordinator. My defense coordinator would be Kevin, but I know Kevin and his defense picking, so our defense would be shit. Because on Madden, Kevin just cycles through the plays.
But
and
that's
then goes
okay
to the next.
sometimes. That's
Why
okay
wouldn't you put me
sometimes.
as offensive coordinator?
Because I fucking pick shitty defenses
You know
too,
what?
Kevin.
That
You know
might
what?
be it, actually. That might
just-
be it, actually, is I'd have
Don't
Andy as
don't
the
stick me
defense.
at defensive coordinator. Do not do that.
I'll call the defense. But the only
All right.
problem is we're just going to blitz fucking everybody. So
I'm
just-
special teams
Then
coach.
maybe, you know what? Maybe I would make Kevin the head coach because he can just sit in the sideline like Mike McCarthy.
Okay. There
And
you
then
go.
you guys are my coordinators.
Yeah.
I was gonna say offense. I can do that all day, but defense
I
I'm
can
not.
call it defense.
Yeah.
All right.
Because Kevin's defense on Madden was, all right, I'm going to pick dime, and then I'm going to pick the left play, the middle play, the right play. The next formation, I'll pick the left play, the middle play, then the right
Madden
play.
choice. Do the Madden
Wait.
choice thing.
But although just
like, I
picture
don't
the
play
visual
defense.
of me being an NFL head coach and Andy and Kevin are my coordinators and they're fucking up on the sidelines. I'm just like
Looking like
saving
John Gruden on a
10 cents.
We're
Sunday.
literally.
Like, Motorola would make, or Bose, or who makes them now, would make so much money just off of my game.
They would have a
those
suitcase
fuckers left
full
and
of
right.
new ones.
We would just
So
be
when
Does
you break
anybody
it,
have
they-
access
somebody
to their
just
phone
brings
right
you
now?
another one.
Here we go.
Can
We'd have
anybody
a
use the phone?
headset guy instead of a water boy.
Instead of like, so teams have the holdback guy, we'd have a headset guy.
You just stand there and hold out your hand like this.
Yeah, just give me another one. Come on.
Snap! Reach your hand out, grab another one,
Come
slap it on. All
No,
right.
actually, not even. I just snap it, and there's a guy that just puts another one right on my head.
Comes up behind you and just goes. Whoop.
Hey, anybody having access to their phone right now, or
Yeah.
everybody on their phone?
Jason.
I'm on.
Do you
my
want to
phone.
use that, Jace? Can you have Messenger on that?
Yeah.
You want to message Cameron and tell him we're doing the podcast right now, so stop fucking calling me?
Why is he trying to call you?
Because he doesn't have Xbox Live.
I thought you were game sharing with him.
I am game sharing with him. He's not with me.
Oh.
I texted him. All right, next game.
It popped up on
Just
my
showed up
screen
on my
too.
Cameron's probably so pissed right now. Like,
Fuck, man.
I wish we
All
were
right.
live streaming this so he could be like,
yeah.
Yeah.
we don't
You
fucking care
son of
about
a-
you.
It'll just comment at the bottom, hey, I need your live password.
No.
He should
All right,
die.
so let's move on to the other AFC matchup. This game was a frigging awesome game. The Bills and the Texans,
Barn
both
burner.
these teams came to fucking win. And I will give the Bills the most credit on this. That first drive was the most amazing drive. Like, that was such a fantastic way to start out that game.
Josh Allen catching the touchdown pass.
Catching the
Like,
touchdown.
what?
And not only that, like, he got lit up on the end of the play. Did
Oh, yeah.
a head over
That
heel
might have
dive
fucked
into the
him
end
up.
zone.
For the rest of the game.
He's made
Yeah.
of like rubber and magic. He just gets hammered, and it's just like, I'm good.
Snaps his knee back into place. We're going.
I think he spit whenever he got up. He's like,
Yeah.
and he was just all right after that. It's like, okay.
Yeah, the dude has really impressed me this year. And like Andy said at the beginning of the year, I think he does deserve a Pro Bowl at least mention, if not on there.
Well, whenever everybody else, Lamar Jackson and whoever else got selected, plays in the Super Bowl or whoever. There's always
Right,
guys.
exactly. He'll
Yeah.
probably pan out as like the 6th or 7th quarterback to be selected to the Pro Bowl, but he'll play because like Brady will be butthurt because he lost, so he won't play, and then
Lamar
et cetera.
Jackson's.
Lamar Jackson will probably
Brady
be
doesn't
close.
deserve to be in, and neither does Josh Allen.
No, and then
No, I mean they
either Lamar or Mahomes in that AFC Championship, whoever loses there probably won't play in it because they'll be like, "No, we just lost. I don't want to." So yeah, he'll probably get in by default.
So
But,
that means I'm right.
correct. Your beginning of the season.
You guys called me
And
retarded.
hold up, my injury to a team that ruins their Super Bowl hopes. I said I'm thinking the Saints or the Steelers, both of which happened. And
But
both of which
technically, you were wrong on the Saints because it didn't ruin their Super Bowl chances.
it did. Maybe Breeze had some lingering effects from it.
No.
We don't know that. Did you talk to Drew
No.
Brees lately?
I said
No, you were wrong on the Saints.
I also said Miles Sanders was going to take the Eagles to the NFC fucking championship game. So it's okay to be wrong sometimes, Jesse.
Kevin said the Raiders were going to win the Super Bowl, so
No, I said they were going to get to the Super Bowl
yeah, get to the Super Bowl.
This year,
So
over the
the
Steelers.
Las Vegas Raiders. He just misspoke.
yeah. So
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen either.
Yeah, that probably. Yeah, there you go. Although the stadium looks amazing, and I would love.
We
to
have
go to
a.
game
I think we
in
have a much
Vegas.
better. We're not going to get into Raider talk. I think we'll have a much better chance. But
Well,
It's
if the theory
becoming,
that I
honestly-
heard.
No, here's what I'm saying.
Bias
Here's
button
what I'm
on Jace.
You're right, but here's what I'm saying. Hear me out, Kevin. You pay more attention to the NBA than these guys do, but the AFC is becoming almost like the Western Conference, and the NFC is like
Yeah.
It is like
Who says I don't watch the NBA?
I don't.
He doesn't. Oh, I didn't realize you
I
watched
do.
Andy.
I watch quite a bit of NBA.
Okay.
I actually used to blow off dates with Maddie
But it's-
to play fantasy basketball.
That's good. But anyhow,
There
that's
you
a
go.
totally
Oh.
reasonable thing to do. But it is
It
literally
was.
like the AFC,
now we're
the
married,
AFC
so it's
is
cool.
like you have the Warriors up top, which is like the Ravens and everybody, and even like the 8 seeds, like the Bills and shit. Like you figure the Bills could probably they could beat the Eagles. They could maybe give the Vikings or the Saints a run for their money, so they'd at least be probably at least a 5th or 4th seed in the NFC. So it's like there's a big disparity there. I'm not saying the Raiders are going to blow anybody out of the water. I'm saying
But the AFC is
decent.
pretty open now.
we're going to be
Yeah.
decent, but the problem is I feel like the wild card position for the next coming years in the AFC is going to be very crowded.
Well, theory I heard today, Jace, was that Derek Carr will be gone and that John Gruden might try to get Tom Brady.
Tua.
I've heard everybody's talking about Brady to the Raiders, and it's just some sick bastard that is still sick over the Tuck rule is like wanting this is like closure is what it is.
What
All
if it
I'm
became?
saying is
What if they were the
Brady-
new cardiac kids? They picked up Larry Fitzgerald at wide receiver and some other old wide receiver,
Honestly,
and
I was
had
gonna
Tom Brady
say-
at quarterback.
watch Larry Fitzgerald just move like basically just trek through the desert like Moses and go to Las Vegas and play as a Raider for the next 2-3 years like Jerry Rice did.
It's
Yeah.
true. We'll talk about that one a little later. Let's
And
get
they'll
back
still
to
not
the
win the Super
Bills,
Bowl.
the Bills and the Texans.
Yeah.
We get way off
Re-
topic.
we
Holy fuck,
that's
we
the
went,
whole
like,
point
on a
of this
whole
show is we
whole
will
different-
go
Always
off
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 into a
topic podcast.
I have to
We brought the
reel you
NBA
guys
into
back
this
in
week's
all the
fucking-
time.
Yeah.
And you see, I try, but then nobody listens to me. I gotta like say it 3-4 times. before
Yeah.
it's
You
like-
brought up
who's-
the Raiders.
So
it's your
anyway,
fault.
when we're talking about the Texans,
Later.
really did I almost feel like the Bills had more deserving to win this game with how they performed for the first 3 quarters.
That's not how that sentence should have been
Aggressive.
structured at all.
Well, I feel like they were
Fuck,
more
let's
deserving.
not start making fun of Jesse right
The
now.
Bills
Why
were
not?
more deserving at the beginning because of how they played in the first 3 quarters. The Texans, Watson performed like Houdini acts at the end. that escaping from the sack at the end to set them up for the game-winning field goal
Milano
was insane.
Milano trashed that whole last play. He fucking held Deshaun Watson up by hitting him.
Yes.
By trying to get the fucking assist on the sack. He fucking
Yeah.
held him up and allowed him to throw that ball.
It was absolutely nut bar how he busted out of that sack and threw the check down that ended up turning into like 40 yards.
The fucking
34.
Raider game this year, when we had him against the ropes, he literally got kicked in the eyeball and was like blinded. His left eye was like covering it, threw the ball for a touchdown, and beat the Raiders.
Yeah.
This guy, Dabo Swinney, everybody kind of chuckled when he came out of college. Everybody called this guy. He called him the Michael Jordan of football. He's like, he's unbeatable when it comes to clutch time. And everybody was like, you can't compare anybody to Michael. But the more I see this dude in clutch time, if he's got the ball and he's got a chance, I'm to the point, like, I wouldn't even take Aaron Rodgers anymore. Like, you have that one quarterback, he had 2 minutes. I'm taking Deshaun Watson.
I just really hope that they can put more around him to help this team get to the top, because the Texans kind of like they deserve a little bit. They've been through the ringer a few times. Then they got J.J. Watt, and they're like, yeah, we got a defensive player of the year. And then J.J. Watt, his fucking pectoral muscle is made out of rubber bands. So, like, he's tore that, like, the last 3 years in a row or something. It's been, like, bicep, pec, or something like that. Like, it's insane.
Well, and to Kevin's point real quick, it's not Deshaun Watson being inconsistent. They spent that first-round pick on Laramie Tunsil, and their offensive line is still dog shit.
Yeah.
There's a reason he has to make these heroics and do this shit. It's because his line is Swiss cheese in front of him, and they've got free rushers coming at him all the time.
Yeah, it's and that's why he has to play Houdini and do that kind of shit.
Well, and that's like I said earlier this season. I think it was David Deal said a team can get away with having 3 good offensive linemen and 2 bad ones, but you can't have any less than 3 good offensive linemen and have bad offensive linemen. They have 1 that's good.
Yeah,
like I said,
it's Laramie Tunsil.
No.
Who's their center? Who is their center?
Tunsil got beat. That's what I wanted to bring up. Tunsil got beat like a fucking redheaded stepchild last week. Jerry Hughes or whoever they had on that side was ripping him up the entire game, and they spent that first rounder on him, and he looked bad.
Yeah.
He had a lot of false start penalties throughout the game.
I think that you'll see a better Tunsil next year after he's had time to acclimate himself into that system.
Either that, or if he doesn't, they might have to go have some tonsil surgery done.
I'll give you that one.
Kill yourself. Kill yourself. They may have to have his tonsils removed.
The Texans will have a tonsil removed.
Yeah. So, Dolphins already tried that. So yeah, I mean I think he'll have a better chance, but I think that's where they need to focus on. They need to focus on the line, and I think they need to focus on the secondary, obviously. Their ragtag group of secondary was... So they basically grabbed everybody's rejects. Like, they may as well have Artie Burns back there. They were not doing great with that, and they missed the days of having Tyrann Mathieu back there. But yeah, I think that that's where their 2 focuses come in the draft. I don't know that they make it past Kansas City, but I think they put up a really good fight. I was honestly proud of the Bills after that game. They showed a lot of grit.
That's what I was gonna. There it is. I was gonna bring that up.
They had some
moxie.
Fucking took my word.
And you know what? They did look at times sneaky athletic too.
Sneaky athletic. But no, the Bills, they were aggressive the entire game.
Yeah.
Like, it took Deshaun Watson fucking doing Deshaun Watson shit for the Texans to take that game away from them.
Well,
they were aggressive. What?
Continue.
But the Bills' defense was aggressive as fuck. They were all over Deshaun Watson that whole game. They were fucking rushing good. They were fucking physical with receivers. A lot of hand fighting and shit going on.
Singletary.
Yeah.
was doing well running
Edmonds.
for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Edmonds, he was
And Edmonds was all over.
He was all
Edmonds,
over the
he's-
Why
fucking
didn't we
place.
draft that Edmonds
What
instead
the
of the other
fuck,
Edmonds?
dude?
He's a
We
freak
got
of
the
fucking
shitty
nature.
Edmonds.
Yeah. He can like rush and
The
then
other,
he'll cover like a slot fucking receiver. Like what?
Yeah.
and then he was like running past their tackles, like they couldn't even touch him when he was rushing. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
It
the
was
one other thing I
stupid.
did want to bring up, I think DeAndre Hopkins had like one reception for 7 yards or
In
something
the first
before
half,
the
it was
half.
horrible.
Yeah.
I had mentioned about Tre'Davious White putting the clamps on him, and then after the half, I think he had like 5 more receptions. He ended up with like 6 for 90 yards
Yeah.
and had a lot of like clutch catches.
Yeah.
He didn't get a touchdown, but he had a lot of like down the middle across the field.
I think they
Get
moved him
the
around a
yardage.
lot to try to get him away from White.
He was on White the whole time.
Yeah, and White was on him
White
the whole
shadowed
time. They
him, and
tried
it
to.
literally became, after that game, I'm sold on DeAndre Hopkins being, I think, better than Julio because he had a number one corner on him, and White is as good as they come in the league, and he wore him down, and it became to a point where White couldn't keep up with him anymore.
Yeah, and D-Hop was playing out of the slot. He was playing fucking everywhere.
Yeah, they
He was lined
moved
up
him,
in the end of
and
the line.
He
Played
had
like a
he had
tight
him the
end a
whole
couple
game, and
times, like-
I went. If they don't throw to Hopkins, if White keeps locking him down, it's over.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they let him loose, it was, late in the third, early in the fourth when he finally started rolling, and he was the key to it.
Yeah, Hopkins really showed that I think if you list some of the receivers now, you got to list Mike Evans because of his stats, but I don't think Mike Evans compares to the other ones. He may be like fifth.
He doesn't have a quarterback either.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. Well,
I guess he does, but
Quarterback by volume.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Exactly.
But I think Hopkins and Mike Thomas
By
are the
volume.
two that you have to list as 1 and 2. And I don't know which one I'd list as 1.
Well,
I think that Mike Thomas gets more of the attention on that offense because there's not a lot around him. Hopkins just can take over games. So I think you have to list Hopkins as number 1 right now.
I'm D-Hop over Julio Jones now.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm listing Julio in the top 5 anymore.
Down here,
Yeah,
It's tough.
come on.
Calvin
you
Ridley
have to.
takes a lot of his like red zone targets and stuff. Is what it is. And he's the one not getting double covered across the line from him. Is what it is.
I mean, Odell fell out of there too. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
a new year. It's a new fucking whole list.
Yeah. Every year it's going to change and move,
Yeah.
but Hopkins has steadily been top 3, if not 1 or 2, the last 3-4 seasons. As soon as Antonio Brown got out of the picture, Hopkins was number 1.
Yeah.
I think he was second to Antonio Brown for a little while.
And Odell whenever he was in New York. But
Yeah, I never really thought that Odell could take over a game. Yeah, he made spectacular catches, but he didn't take over games like those guys do.
yeah, I mean, I guess
Back then he
crunch.
he changed.
You didn't watch a lot of
We're
his
talking
games.
crunch.
Well, no,
Well,
I'm
crunch
saying he
time.
had a lot of clutch things happen, but there's times where he wasn't getting the balls and he was getting upset. So you didn't
Like
you don't see that.
Antonio Brown?
Yes, but Antonio Brown got it a lot, but Antonio Brown also performed
he's a
stat-wise.
Like Stephon Diggs?
You literally just said it. Antonio Brown was a crybaby, and he'd do all these things, but guess what? He'd be on the field the fourth quarter, and he did the stretch thing against the Ravens or the Chargers.
His toe tapping abilities.
He
were
always
stupid.
Tony
showed up when
Kutos.
it mattered, in
Yep.
spite of the theatrics. And OBJ deserves to be up there, but
Yeah.
he's not
All right.
good.
You're right. And I just.
When you're right, you're right.
And I'm
But
always
but yeah, and needless to say, I was very proud of the Bills and how they performed. Josh Allen really looked great, and it's kind of sad to see them go off into the sunset like that. But I think they should be proud of themselves with what they've done. I think it's going to be. I think that they could be a dark horse to take the division next year, depending on what happens with Brady and Belichick. So, I think that could be a very interesting thing to see going forward. Let's move on to the NFC side. Let's look at the Seahawks and Eagles game first.
Let's not.
That game was just.
Josh McCown was there though. I mean, he fucking
There
showed the fuck
wasn't-
up.
there wasn't a whole lot you can really talk about on that game because.
He showed the fuck up though. He
But yeah,
hard.
I mean, he
I was
did.
just-
I mean,
No.
David hell.
if
I'm
Wentz
so
didn't get
pulling
knocked
for
out,
him.
it
I
may
was
have been
pulling
a
for
different
him, man.
game.
So pissed.
If Wentz didn't get knocked out, it may have been a different game. And I know everybody screams
No, it wouldn't
that was
have
a
been.
dirty hit. It was not a dirty
Nah,
hit.
It was.
Yes, it was.
It was not. It was not intentional. His face mask went into the back of his helmet, and as he was going to the ground, they
As a
ran in.
quarterback is falling forward and giving up himself, and all you have to do
Diving
is take your 2 hands and
forward.
go.
Diving forward. That's on Wentz.
You go.
That's
go like
on
this.
Wentz. You
Yeah,
don't.
Jesse's
dive
right.
forward
That's on
as a-
Carson Wentz. You don't go
It's
forward, you slide.
Yes, that is why you're taught to
He's-
slide.
He's a
Because if-
quarterback and he's down. He's literally already.
He's not
given-
when
he's
you're
not down.
when you're
When you
moving
dive
forward
you are
and
not
you're
giving
running.
yourself
You are
up.
no longer a quarterback. You are a runner.
And
Yes,
when you
I
dive forward,
understand you're a
you're
runner.
not down. When you dive forward,
Okay. Guess what? Stick a 55 jersey and put Burfict across his back, and you guys are fucking screaming this is the dirtiest hit in the world.
that's because
I'm not
Perfect
saying-
would have
I'm not saying- I
dived
understand
head
That's because
first.
his fucking
like a
hits
missile.
were
Gave
dirty
himself
hits.
up. I totally get that. I'm saying there is no reason he's falling forward, and here comes a guy, and he literally took the crown of his helmet or the face mask or whatever, and drove it in. Like, why?
Guy's diving in
Why?
front of him, so he lowers his
Why?
head because a guy's diving. in
That was a
front.
dirty hit.
Listen.
That was a dirty hit.
There was no intention to
That
it.
was unnecessary, of the highest order.
No, I disagree
No.
wholeheartedly. There was not a dirty.
And there-
Yes, it was
and-
a bad hit.
Seahawks are one of those franchises that just goes unnoticed, and there's no flags because that's.
I
just-
think
I
Absolutely
disagree
not.
half-heartedly because I really don't care either way.
I disagree on that because they talked about how Pete Carroll has changed the dynamic of how they tackle. They are very rugby style tackling, and there wasn't bad hits. Clowney was not raised in that system, so Clowney went to spear. That's what he does. That's why he's fucking famous for the goddamn spear he did in college. So
Yes.
yeah, he has a different tackling style that wasn't brought onto him from the Seahawks. So don't say the Seahawks will go unnoticed because it's a hit and they're the Seahawks. That doesn't make any sense. They don't do things like that. Now,
No, it does. No, it absolutely does. And you guys are going to hate me for it, but like I said, put him in silver and black. Put 55 on his back. That's a flag, and he's thrown out of the game because you're going after a quarterback with your helmet.
You're
Helmet
talking
to
about
helmet.
a guy that has knocked people out on the field and has 11, 12 fines against
No
him.
difference. No difference.
You're talking about a guy
No
who's
difference. It's intent,
continual
It's
continual
intent.
offender of this.
It's intent. He was
There was
literally
no
already
intent on
almost
that.
on the ground. He was almost on the ground. All Clowney has to do is put his hands down, and he could go over top of him. Instead, he saw an opportunity. It's a playoff game. It's the first time he's played on a team that can win, other than when they played Connor Cook in the fucking wild card game that year. That they can advance past this, and he took a shot at their fucking starting quarterback. It was a dirty shot.
I was gonna say I was
Wrong.
in between at the beginning of this
You're
discussion.
fucking retarded. Shut up. Nobody asked you. Sit down there. Sit down there, you big dumb fuck. Shut up.
He's talking about
Are you talking to me? I was
He's
gonna
talking
say.
to Kevin,
I was
not
gonna
Kevin.
say. I'm fucking.
Kevin.
I'm
Kevin.
already sitting.
Kevin. I was talking to Kevin.
I was gonna say.
Anyway.
I was
I
in
can't sit
between
down any
on this.
further.
I don't think it was a dirty hit, but
there was no
Jason's
intent
wrong.
on it.
but I mean, he was diving forward. That's on Carson Wentz. That is on Carson Wentz. But I mean, he might have something with that fucking Vontaze Burfict thing. I mean, Vontaze Burfict definitely
How
was
are
getting
you comparing the two?
because Vontaze Burfict was getting looked at through a fucking magnifying glass. Any
Yes,
hit, he
'cause
fucking
constantly did it.
Yeah.
He knocked
It is
people out
not-
of
Okay,
the
but it's
field.
You're literally, Jesse, you are proving my point.
yeah.
It does not matter what happened. What happened in the game? Carson Wentz was knocked out with a concussion. They took him to the locker room. And you just said, Jadeveon Clowney, Pete Carroll, this rugby-style tackling system, and they brought in somebody from an outside system.
Yeah, you just did this, Jesse.
Yes.
That's
he
what I'm
led
saying.
with his head.
Yes,
He led with his
led
head
like a
and a
spear.
quarterback that was literally, you look at the footage, Wentz was already on the
If
ground.
it was a running back,
lands
no one
on
would have said
top of
anything
him,
about it.
Lands on top of him and literally jams, like, I'm not saying he, like, headbutted him, but you can take a shot at a dude when he's
It
already
wasn't
down.
even his helmet that caused the concussion. It was he bounced off his face mat and smacked into the ground. You see it in the slow motion. Like, there was no...
From ramming his head into, like, you did not watch it, obviously, because
I did.
you didn't. That was. I can't even fuck. I'm so mad at you. I can't even fucking deal with it.
Josh McCown got another jersey to put in his man cave, Jace. That's all that matters here. That's all that matters here.
All that matters is
I'll
it was
my anger up. What I was angriest about the most is, the Philadelphia Eagles and their backup quarterbacks. It was like, Josh McCown to the Super Bowl.
Damn it.
Let's go.
Well, let's
Dude,
go.
that's what
Where's the
train
Philly
I was
special?
on.
I'm like, if he wins this game, I will mortgage my house, all three of your houses, on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, because they will have great odds. And as we've seen with
I was all about it.
Be done. I wanted it, but it didn't.
Who more deserving than Josh McCown too?
Yeah,
That's
true.
it.
Plays for
It's true.
shitty
It
teams
is
his whole
very
life.
true.
His first fucking playoff game, he should have just fucking wrecked them.
Like, Foles was like a Ram, a Chief. He was like a journeyman.
Yeah.
McCown is the ultimate journeyman. He deserved that, but
He's been playing football for longer than we've been alive.
Anyways,
these
two teams played. They were shit teams. They played like shit on both sides of the football. Both teams did. And they're going to... Seattle's going to go into Green Bay this week. And Green Bay hasn't been winning very well either. So now we've got a matchup of two teams, neither one of which I think really are deserving of a championship game, and one of them's going to go.
All right, on to the next one.
Yeah. Fuck you then, I guess.
Yeah, we're having fun screaming at each other, Kevin.
Yeah, right? Jesus. So we can move on to the Vikings and Saints game. First off, before we even get into this game, can we just talk about how amazing Taysom Hill is? He is the most amazing player I think I've seen in this league, just in the sheer fact that what he can do. They've seen the memes where it's like, hey, what position do you play for the Saints? And he just says yes.
Yeah, he's the guy on NCAA football where you were trying to, recruit players, and he was in the category of athlete.
Yeah, and you put him at every position.
Yeah.
It was like, there was a guy from a couple years back from Iowa State that was like a linebacker that they had to throw in at quarterback, and he ended up winning. I don't know if they won the conference, but I think they won out or something like that. And the dude had like Tebow-ass stats, like 4 throws, fucking 90 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns and shit like that.
And a jump throw in there too.
By the way, I'd like to bring up, it was like 8 years to the day or something like that, the anniversary of Tim Tebow to Demaryius Thomas.
Thanks for that. Anyway, moving on. So
I'm just here so I don't kill Jace.
This past weekend also marked the second for how many consecutive years since the Raiders have last won a Super Bowl.
Oh boy, could I tell? Did your fucking tampon get ruffled there? Because
see, I was gonna say it was gonna mark 2 straight years that the
reference.
Raiders didn't make the playoffs, and then I realized, it's been 2 years since the Steelers made the playoffs.
Here comes Captain Pissy Pants. I gotta get all fucking.
He's all pissy pantsed up now.
Yeah, he's fucking. I have to live with the fact of just my own memories of being a Raider fan. You don't have to remind me of all these things.
Well, I was gonna
take my shots.
You were making your pissy pants comments. You
There's
probably
a lot of shots.
I was gonna say something about.
This is awesome. This is like boxing.
I was gonna say something about the 2 years since the Raiders last made the playoffs. Then I realized, oh yeah, it's the same thing for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Well,
so
all I'm saying is the guy had passing. I think of what. Did he have a passing touchdown or just like passing?
No, he had 50 yards passing.
He had 50 yards passing. He had
50 yards receiving.
He had receiving yards. He had a touchdown. He punt returns. He blocks kicks. He
plays fullback.
He plays fullback leading for Kamara. Like, it's insane the stuff.
And I'm pretty sure he took 3 snaps at center.
So
playing on the offensive line. Now.
all I want to know is, since Breeze lost this game, do we think he's done?
No.
He said
He's way too. Yeah, he's way too competitive to fucking
I
lose
kind of
like
figured
that.
that as well. I kind of figured that as well. Who do you think they're going to keep Bridgewater for the entire time till he does call it quits, or do you think they're going to experiment with Taysom Hill?
I think that Bridgewater gave himself a serious fucking case to be brought back, but I mean, it depends what the figures are.
I also think Teddy Bridgewater made himself a serious case to go somewhere else.
Thank you. That's
I was going to say
it
depends on what the figures look like.
Because you're going to look at teams like Tampa Bay, Washington, depending on what their coaches decide. With Haskins, you've got even like a Detroit team with Stafford not being available at all times. A lot of these teams might be looking to make a move to make a trade for him.
And Sean Payton has explicitly stated that he said that Taysom Hill is in his future plans, and he's kind of
at every other position other than quarterback.
No, but that's the thing is like he can play the quarterback, and it's like
Taysom Hill can come in and do kind of Lamar Jackson type shit with rushing and passing.
Exactly.
But what happens whenever your starting quarterback is also your fucking starting outside linebacker? Like, you know what I mean?
There will be no more punt returns for him. Yeah. There will be no more blocking punts.
Well, no, they should keep doing that. He should go back to
makes it interesting.
Old school.
That was like Otto Graham style.
50s,
yeah, it's like
60s,
fucking
just barely
schoolyard
football.
Shit.
When guys were like nose tackles or centers, and they played on both sides of the ball. They smoked cigarettes and drank beer at halftime.
They were smoking a cigarette before they snapped the ball, just dangling out of the face mask.
No, they didn't have mouth guards. They just kept their cigarettes.
They have the mic. They have the mic dick cigars fucking hanging out of their mouth.
So I like. The Saints end up losing this in overtime to the Vikings, which is just very fitting because that seems.
I'm not letting you guys live this down. I'm just discussing other shit.
Yeah. They seem to always have that issue with the Vikings. It was like the worst matchup the Saints could face in the wild card round. Cousins gets his first playoff win. In the locker room, he was, celebrated, and then, he goes,
"You like that?"
And I got one thing to say about that. You like that? And so everybody freaks out. It was pretty great. Do I think they're going to go any further? No. But I think that it was a great day for them.
Richard Sherman's going to ask him how his ass tastes.
Yeah, I really felt like the Saints were the team that was going to come in here, and I'm just sad to see it.
He's not going to get the ball to Richard Sherman. He's going to be on his own ass all day long. That's what he's about.
So, what do we got looking forward to? I guess more Saints future, and what do you think do you think the Vikings are going to have any sort of chance against the 49ers?
I wasn't done talking about Bridgewater, but I just wanted to say that if Drew Brees says he's going to retire in the next year or two, that might con Teddy Bridgewater into staying in New Orleans if he gets a decent deal out of it.
Yeah,
because I think that
Bridgewater
with Michael
will.
Thomas and
I was going to say Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas is a pretty good deal,
and if he has the chance to take over that offense here in the next year or two, I mean. He might sign a smaller
I don't know if he has the
New
patience
Orleans.
Because he's like 27?
Yeah, he's not that young.
Yeah, 27, 28, something like that.
Jace looked that up.
Waiting 3 more years and 2-3 more years for Breeze to retire and then take over a team at 30. I don't know. I don't feel like he's got
have maybe 5 years left in your body.
Right. I don't feel like he has the patience for that.
I thought he was a lot younger than that.
Should be starting somewhere next year.
Isn't he 24?
Saints quarterback Teddy Bridgewater would need special situation to leave Saints.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said.
So if he's a starter, he'll be gone.
He is fucking old
So,
are you?
but how old is he? Is what I'm asking.
27. He was born in
27.
90.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
That changes everything.
That's what I'm saying. He would be
I thought he was a lot younger.
29,
But
30
here's the
when he
thing.
takes over that team.
I understand not wanting, everybody's going to die one day. We're all getting older. But here's the thing. Do you take
Where are
a
you
flyer
going with
on
that?
No, but here's the thing. Do you just wait because you have a good team waiting once Breeze finally does?
But listen, he was hurt, so every year he's getting healthier. His fucking separated leg is fucking healing better. Like,
but here's
he's in a
thing.
good situation right now.
Why would you take a random flyer on a team like go to the fucking I know he would never go there, but say like a Jets or some bullshit like that. When
Buccaneers,
you just sit learn more behind one of the greatest of all time, and
that's what I'm saying.
Craft, you could go out. It doesn't matter what you did in your career. You got win 2-3 Super Bowls in quarterbacks aren't like wide receivers like you're going to get onto later, Andy. It's not like once you turn 40, it's all over. Like we've seen Tom Brady's a perfect example. We've seen guys play well.
Doug Flutie,
it's a very limited sample size.
Vinny Testaverde.
Vinny Testaverde's dead corpse.
The way Teddy Bridgewater plays the game, though, is what's going to limit the amount of years that he has left.
Well, that's
and these
but he's
are
only getting healthier right
years.
now.
He's going to end up. He's going to end up, though, if he were to go somewhere, he's going to get a Jimmy Garoppolo deal. Based off of what he did in that limited sample size they had in New Orleans, he would get a Jimmy Garoppolo.
I don't think he's going to get a Jimmy Garoppolo deal.
Not even close.
Jimmy Garoppolo got a Jimmy Garoppolo deal because he was going to be Tom Brady's heir apparent. Is why he got his deal.
That's exactly
okay. Bridgewater's going to get a 2 to 3 deal.
Drew Brees'
He'll probably have it all guaranteed.
Well, they took a flyer on Jimmy Garoppolo, and Teddy Bridgewater
going to get
a
2,
sample
maybe
size
3-year
in Minnesota.
Deal. There's no way
Jimmy
he's
G
getting
had
that type
no
of money.
sample
Yes.
size. No.
If he goes somewhere else to be the starter, yes, he will. It's a starting quarterback contract. We've had this discussion how many times? If you sign somebody to be the starter,
he'll make 20 mil, but he's not making Cousins Jimmy Garoppolo money type of thing.
He's 27 years old. He's going to walk into one of the best offenses in the NFL if he just bides his time. And we've seen it does not matter. Your biological clock as a quarterback does not expire nearly as fast as it does at every other position in the NFL.
Yeah, especially if he gets to sit. I mean, if he's sitting and fucking not taking the wear. I mean,
I don't know. I think he's going to go to a team.
Is somebody dying?
Yeah,
I really. She's talking to her mother on the phone right now.
Is that how they talk to each other?
I heard her tell her to shut up.
They were screaming at one another, and now she is laughing her ass off. So evidently, her mother said something asinine or something. I have no idea what's going on.
It literally sounded like somebody was being.
Yeah, she's downstairs. In another room.
Do you have her locked to something?
Run to the gun safe and be like,
he has her chained to something. He has her chained to something.
Have her handcuffed to the radiator.
There it is.
Like you're gonna go downstairs and she's gonna have
mode.
Pigtails, fucking dyed blue and red, and she's gonna say,
"Blood
What's
all
up,
over
Jay?"
Hi, Jay.
Yeah, with the hammer on her shoulder. It could be that fucking axe we took and cut that tree down one night in the whole city with.
We sat out in the woods for like 25 minutes, cutting a log in half, and Jason's standing there holding the
your
light.
Rich ass neighbors. It was so loud, and I'm like, dude, just throw this. We have this big ass like limb. We had this dull ass like 1800 like. The last time this was used was the gold rush of 1800.
They had more rust than metal.
It was still young, so it was just bouncing off of it. And I'm like, you're not going to cut this thing up. And he got like 2 pieces off of it after disturbing the entire suburb. And then he was like, all right, well, we're just going to do it your way now because that's too fucking loud.
And that log is now sitting half burnt in the woods.
Amen.
It never even made the whole night.
You know what though? We came back to the fire And then 10 minutes later, everybody's like, okay, we're going to go now. I'm like, fuck all of you. I just spent all this time doing this wood.
I worked so hard at this.
I was just waiting
No
for the cops to
appreciation.
pull up, and there's two grown men in the woods with an axe and be like, "Hey,
Hey,
you
what's
guys
up?"
doing?"
Just trying to
Pertains
separate some
the
limbs here.
Saints so much. This pertains
There's
to the
not a
Saints
hole
so
in the body
much.
right here. Don't come over here.
Oh, don't worry about that freshly dug up ground over there. We'll cover it up later.
Okay,
This
so we went from
podcast is
Teddy
awesome.
Bridgewater.
This
Anyway.
fucking podcast is awesome.
So let's
By
move on to some of the coaching changes we've seen. We can go on it briefly here. We've seen Mike McCarthy get hired to the Cowboys. Before Garrett was officially fired, he was hired.
Dumpster fire.
And then Garrett had to basically be drug out of the building, like he said
Well,
he
to
wasn't.
keep up with the horror movie, element, I'm just picturing Jason Garrett. It's probably what he's picturing in his mind. Just him. There's a monster. Jerry Jones has just evolved into a werewolf that's trying to murder him and drag him out of.
He's kicking
fucking
and screaming.
I wonder how long he's hidden under his desk for.
And like I
It's
said,
just like,
Mike
they'll
McCarthy
never find
drives
me
by
here.
with his gator shoes on and goes, "Don't get tears on those."
Yeah, sorry.
He's like, "How is my office cleaned out?" All right, cool.
Oh, you left your stapler. No, that's my stapler now.
Well, I just think the funniest part of all this is the fact that Dallas actually released a statement about all these meetings they were having and the fact that Jason Garrett was crying in those meetings, which is part of the reason it was taking so long to finish the separation.
It's like a crazy
finish him.
ex-girlfriend.
I
Crazy
just
ex-girlfriend right now.
Once
You
again,
can't
another
leave
just
me.
absolute just chef's kiss because Mr. Clapp on the sidelines, he's so fucking annoying. I'm so glad he's gone.
How great will it be, though, that if he goes to the division rival of the Giants as their OC, which is what is under speculation right now? Because I just find it hilarious because there was like memes out there of like Giants fans crying and Redskins fans crying and then Eagle fans crying and then Cowboys fans cheering over the firing of Jason Garrett, and then yet one of them may hire him. So
Exactly.
I find it hilarious.
I actually feel really bad for Jason Garrett just because like he's a pussy. And like he's like it's like, oh, like you're sensitive? Like that sucks. Like
I feel bad for him.
Yeah,
He's a pussy.
Yeah, I feel so bad that you're such a vagina.
Yeah. Just come here. Come on.
You do. I will say, you got to understand, this guy was Aikman's backup. He's known the Joneses for years. He probably feels like he basically just wasted like a decade of Jerry Jones's life and the primes of some of his best players. And he probably literally feels like a real fucking failure. So he's like,
He does. I know he does.
Like,
Yeah. Like
His dad
JJ,
is kicking him out of the house.
Yep, right now.
It's time for you to live on your own now.
Time for you to spread your wings. Go
Spread your
suck
wings.
somewhere else. Go
So
trash another team, asshole.
some of the other coaching changes we've seen, the Baylor coach get hired as
Matt Rule.
Yes, Matt Rule hired as the Panthers coach. Is that right?
Yeah, threw a
Which-
shitload of money at him.
Yeah, which everybody thinks that this is the end of Cam Newton because of his hiring.
Yeah, so I could see them either one going after a quarterback in this draft or him making a decision to go with
Starting over.
Greer or Allen for a year and then having a tank season to get somebody in there. I don't know. But there's a lot of things that could happen, and I think Cam Newton will be either I don't know. Is his contract up or is he kind of a trade bait?
No, he's still under contract. They'd
No.
save $19
Trade
million if
bait.
he's not there.
Okay,
Trade
so
bait.
there's going to be some trade bait in this offseason. Maybe you see him move up in the draft. Maybe he snags up Tua. You know, who knows? We'll see what happens when that comes about this offseason. But
Tua, it is thought, will still be gone pretty early. They're thinking that the Dolphins
Second
will take him
round.
at 5.
I don't think so. I think he drops to the second round.
well,
You're
you
wrong.
No,
of his
because
hip?
if he makes it to the end of the first round, the
Yeah.
Patriots are going to take him.
Yeah,
So
for
I'm pretty sure the Dolphins are going to take him. It is what everybody's saying. The Dolphins are going to pick up Tua
We'll make a bet right now.
because You can
Patriots
sit
already
Tua
have
on the
their
bench
air.
for a year if you have to behind Ryan Fitzpatrick to learn from a pro.
Don't
And,
talk bet. If Tua goes to the second round, you guys each fucking owe me a
BJ? Blowjob?
You-
blowjob. Yeah.
What? Why would you offer a blowjob, fag?
Because we
I didn't say I was giving. I didn't say I
Not
was
that we
giving.
judge that sort of thing.
I didn't say I was giving you guys blowjobs.
Jesse's over
I
here
win.
saying,
I
"Oh,
give
if we
blowjobs.
lose, we'll suck your dick."
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
well, here's the
Kevin
thing.
will.
All of you homophobic motherfuckers, shut up. The Dolphins draft 5th and the Panthers draft 7th. So that could be something to watch.
So there you go. That's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you, Tua with his injury and shit, he goes in the second round. It's going to be
And
DK
I'm
Metcalf
telling
all
you,
over again.
You
I'm telling
fucking
you, you're full
ate
of
pink
shit.
chips as a kid if you think Tua's going to the second round.
We'll see.
Yeah.
You
We'll
grew
see.
up under some power lines.
Had
Okay.
Tua not gotten hurt and Alabama
He
not
had-
gotten their ass
had-
kicked by Joe
It would
Burrow,
be
Tua,
1 and
not
2
gotten
Joe
hurt.
Burrows and Tua is what
Yep.
it would be.
it would be Joe. If Tua hadn't got hurt, he would probably still be the number one over Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he's probably true.
No.
Don't
Tua
let
was
Noah
gonna be a
listen to this
Dolphin,
podcast.
But
As soon as Joe Burrow started playing better, Tua was going to be a Miami Dolphin no matter what. Because here's your rundown right now. You have the Bengals at number 1, the Redskins are at 2, Dwayne Haskins, Detroit Lions at number 3, Matthew Stafford, New York Giants at number 4, Daniel Jones, Miami Dolphins.
Well, no, that's what
Josh
I'm saying. He
Rosen.
would have been the number one pick. Probably.
asshole.
Well, did you not listen to me? Is the fat getting into your ears, you dumb fuck? What did you not hear about until Joe Burrow started playing well? He was the number 1 overall pick, but now.
But if Tua hadn't got hurt, he probably still would have been
That's
playing
what I'm
well
saying.
himself.
I'm literally sitting. No.
Literally, that's what he
Tua-
said.
If Tua hadn't gotten hurt, I'm going to argue with you right now. Burrow still would have been the best quarterback in college football.
I'm okay. Justin Herbert gets drafted before Tua Tagovailoa. I'm saying it.
I'm going to. If
Come
I can
on.
reach through this.
All right,
fucking
we'll
screen and
save
punch you in
this for the
face.
off-season podcast when we start talking about the draft. Enough of this
The Andy's
shit.
Always
You're
Wrong
fucking
podcast.
stupid.
I'm always fucking right. I win everything. Fuck
He
all
does,
of you.
actually.
Oh, yeah?
And
How
I-
are your Bills doing?
Oh, how
Andy,
the fuck
Andy,
are your fucking Saints doing,
Andy,
dick fuck?
Andy,
Quasimodo, fucking get back up in your tower, dumb shit.
Andy.
Who fucking won the fucking picks, asshole? Who won the fantasy football league, dick fuck? Get out of here with your
Dick
bullshit.
fuck.
Wow.
Yes!
See,
Best
that's what I got
podcast
worked up.
episode ever.
Just drink some more of your piss water and sit down there, little boy.
Andy,
Is that the best you got? You fucking suck at everything you do, so I'm drinking piss water.
I was
so suck
one game
dick.
behind you in
Fucking
fucking
go
picks,
ring your
dickhead.
bell,
That's true.
Quasi. Go ring the fucking bell.
I was one fucking game behind you. Listen to your
Moving
butt chin
on.
McGee.
Moving on. We
real quick,
have
Andy, we're not right about everything because me and you agreed on Mason Rudolph.
valid. Moving on.
But I
we'll
can't
go
use
in-
that because I also thought he was going to be good.
Yeah, right. I did too. So, all right, Andy, say your
We
little
all
tidbit.
four
We got a
agreed. We
little
shoulda known.
fun fact that he found about Larry Fitzgerald. Go ahead and throw it out there.
You
Okay,
going to
so-
talk about the Giants' new head coach at all, or are we just not going to?
I don't really care
No,
that much
fuck
about
him.
them.
Yeah, he's a special teamer from the
I'll
Patriots.
bring it
Yeah.
up.
He
I'll bring
deserves
up real
it.
quick, just you brought up the Jason Garrett thing, but you guys are shitting on this, but this is the best offseason hire by far. This guy has been recruited by multiple teams, and Belichick year by year brought him back for more money, and finally, obviously, the Giants. I heard that Matt Rule was bidding between basically the Panthers and Giants, and the Panthers threw more money. And then they took Judge as their second option, essentially. And Jason Garrett is in talks to be their offensive coordinator. But Joe Judge essentially has coached the best special teams unit, and obviously their wide receivers haven't been great. But their
That's why I
wide
draft
receivers have to be
Goskowski every year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The one guy on the one show that I watched is a huge Giants fan, and that's they're talking about Judge being hired, and one of the other guys says, "What if they pick up Matthew Slater?" And he's like, "Oh, if they get Matthew Slater, it's Super Bowl or bust."
Yeah, that's exactly it. You look
Yeah.
at guys like him, and the one thing I saw, special teams coaches are really the only type of coach that has to coach every single position group.
It's,
Because it doesn't
except for the
matter.
head,
Yep.
aside from the head coach, are the ones that have the most interaction with the entire team.
Which
Yeah,
I
you
always
have-
found it
Um,
weird that they were usually the ones that turn into head coaches, and it
John
like I never
Harbaugh.
thought of it that way.
Well,
Jim
no,
Harbaugh, yeah,
it's honestly
exactly
it's
right.
the opposite. It's usually guys like the fucking McVays and these hotshot offensive and defensive coordinators that get these contracts and they get these head coaching jobs and they don't pan out.
What was
Then
Brian
they go
Flores?
become special teams coaches.
What'd you say, Andy?
What was Brian Flores? He was a defensive coordinator,
I
wasn't he?
believe he was a defensive coordinator.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yes.
I
But
thought
no,
he
but-
had something to do with special teams.
But yeah, deep special teams coaches have to coach the entire team, and they're very well equipped to these certain things. But yet, you see a lot of, if an offensive or defensive coordinator is a hot year, they get the job because they're the name over certain other people. And there are other teams that got their big names over the Giants, but I think this is the best move by far.
So you
Yeah.
like the Judge move then?
100%.
One other
Judging
thought.
from your reaction,
I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know anything about that guy. I didn't know he existed until today.
nobody
I
knows
know,
anything
but
about
he was
special
He
teams
was a coach at
coaches.
Mississippi State, and he once got ejected for throwing his own player over a bench for disagreeing with him. So
Bills Mafia, baby. Here we go. Flaming
it's
flying
fucking-
elbow through a flaming table in the middle of the field.
Oh
Fuck
no,
yeah.
like
But-
that bench, he
All
whipped that
about it.
motherfucker right over it. But there's a reason Belichick's assistants are so sought after, and there's a reason he's lost 6 games in a row to them.
Well, the one other coaching thing that I wanted to bring up too is the Browns are the only ones that have yet to hire a coach.
Of course.
They're bringing in
They just
a
won't.
bunch of people. Josh
Baker
McDaniels is
Mayfield.
going to be there on Saturday, and they plan on having the decision made by Saturday. I think that's probably going to end up being who they go for. Is Josh McDaniels.
I think Josh McDaniels
Well,
will
and
say no to
that's
that.
going to be the best
I would
thing,
hope.
real quick.
Josh
I'm gonna interrupt
McDaniels is
you.
agreeing to go to the interview, so if he didn't want to coach for the Browns, he wouldn't go for the
Don't
fucking
even
interview.
say that with the whole
Don't
Colts
say that
thing.
bullshit
Yeah, the Colts
because
thing, yeah.
he literally could be doing that to make the Patriots pay him a little more money.
Yeah,
It is-
I think that's kind of off the table now. They're not going to give him any more money. They did that this last time. If he goes on this interview, he's going because he's trying to take the job. I think he's going to take the job. A lot of the people have been saying they thought that Tom Brady might go with him wherever he goes. The only reason I could see them picking him up in Cleveland is if they wanted to run a 2-back setup and the second back being Tom Brady so he can be in Baker Mayfield's ear going, don't throw it to that guy.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
touching him, grabbing his shoulders and like
Yeah,
whispering
hey,
in his ear.
look, right over there. Throw that ball
But
there. Throw that ball there.
Everybody's-
I don't have the
No,
arm
no,
strength,
no, no.
so you throw it. And
Yeah,
This is
but-
exactly my point. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The McDaniels thing with the Colts, and now he's the sought-after coach. And I promise you, no matter if he goes to the Browns, it doesn't matter if he gets the Monstars, he will still be the worst coach between him and Joe Judge. I promise you, Joe Judge will be a 10 times better head coach than him.
you mean the guy who's already taken a team to the playoffs and won, but then got fired because of the whole
with Tebow.
Spygate bullshit.
And
he
on that
won.
Demaryius Thomas throw, just
I don't
was going
care.
full circle.
The team was in shambles after he left because of what he did.
I still think Josh McDaniels is going to take over the
No, because they
Patriots.
immediately hired John Fox and Peyton Manning.
No, Steve Belichick will be the next.
What,
coach.
why though? Why the fuck would Steve Belichick take over? I don't
Because-
understand that. But
Because he has the personality of warm wallpaper paste like his father, and he knows football. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
he lives.
Because-
Okay.
because-
Crab
what
cakes in
that-
football, that's what
Real
Belichick's
quick,
do.
Because if
Think
you
about all
lift
the
up
things-
the mullet, it's like in Harry Potter where that person had the face in the back, and it's just Belichick's face on the back of his head. Like,
Think about
Bill
all the
is-
things-
He's going to hide his
used him.
dad under the mullet.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say I was gonna go into this whole big explanation on why he shouldn't be the next head coach, but I'm not even fucking getting into
You
that.
think-
We'll
you think
save that for next
Belichick
week,
showed
folks. We'll
Mike
save that for next
Vrabel?
week.
You think Belichick showed Mike Vrabel some shit? You think he showed Brian Flores some shit? He has an entire binder this full just for his own son. That when
The
he
water
finally
boy,
does
the
become a
fucking
head
green
coach, he's gonna
notebook.
go, all right, here's how you do it, and they'll fucking It's going to be literally like Palpatine handing off the Empire. It's
And
just-
also, here's how you spy on this team. Here's how you spy on
Exactly.
that team.
Here's a nice
Deflate the ball
documentary
slightly.
you can use.
Just deflate the
and
ball
it's-
slightly.
and
Yeah.
we're going to be like, cool, they put in the nerdy weird kid. He's not going to win shit. And then they're
He has a
gonna go,
mullet,
like,
so I'm all
they're going to
about
go
it,
like
but-
15-1 and win the Super Bowl in his first year. And then we're all going to fucking just.
If you send texts out about a guy calling him the deflator, use the excuse that he's on a diet.
Have a mullet. Have a strong, stern
You
mullet.
didn't hear that one, Jesse?
No.
Yeah, you never heard that
Oh
one?
yeah, during
No.
the Deflategate, they had text messages and they were talking about the deflator. That's what they were referring to him as, the deflator. And their argument to that was there's a person on their staff that was on a diet.
That's horrible.
I actually never heard that.
All right,
either,
we need
but
to move
that's-
on. We need to move
Yeah.
on. So the divisional round comes up. These are the last 8, the Elite 8, if you will. Saturday starts off with the NFC matchup of Minnesota and San Francisco. Let me get up my handy dandy Word document and let's make some mother-fulling picks. Hold on a second. Oh, God.
We already made the picks.
Well, yeah.
Well,
we
we'll
made
go
the-
ahead and say what we think is going to happen this week.
Yeah, like we made the whole brackets.
The
It's-
brackets are the brackets. The brackets stand, but we'll
Yeah.
still.
So we have Minnesota at San Francisco. I personally am going to go with the 49ers on this one. So I think
You
that
should pick the Saints, Jesse.
I should. Minnesota is going to come out. They're going to actually, I feel like they're going to do well, but I do not think that they will do enough to win that game. Jace, what is your pick?
You don't even have to ask me.
Yeah, I figured.
Like I said, Kirk Cousins is going to be on his ass looking up at the lights most of this game.
Yeah. All right. Kevin, who do you have?
I'm going to go with the 49ers. I think it's going to be a really close game, though.
I could see this one going down to like a final kick, field goal kick as time expires type of thing. Andy.
In my screaming at Kevin, I didn't get to tell you guys that I was the one that said that fucking Kirk Cousins was going to be the fucking Saints killer. So fuck all of you. And
Yes, Andy, you're so cool.
the 49ers are going to kick the fuck out of the Vikings.
Alrighty then.
He's a Saints killer, not a 49ers killer.
Bold prediction.
Saturday night, we have the Tennessee Titans at Baltimore. This is a fun game that I really hope that the Titans actually put up a fight, but I don't see it happening. I think you got to go Ravens all the way on this one. Jace?
Sorry, I was reading. My girlfriend's in the next room with a cold, and I was reading a text message from her real quick. What game
She
we talking
seems
about?
like the Ravens and the Tennessee Titans.
She's always sick. Yes, you're right.
Yes.
Put on. Once again, I do think this will be closer than I think the 49ers and Vikings will not be close. But I think the Ravens win, but I think the Titans keep this one close. And I do think you see Lamar Jackson. Everybody's kind of made him like the Superman kind of figure. I think you see him maybe get a little bit of kryptonite in this game.
I feel you. Kevin?
I think this is going to be it's going to be a low-scoring game. Baltimore's definitely going to win, but I definitely think it's going to be
Low-scoring game from the Ravens who put up 42 people. 42
It's
points
going to
on
be a
people,
really
like it's
bad
nothing.
weather game.
42 people.
It's going to be a really
42
bad
people.
weather game. I forget who it was who said it today. They were talking about this game, and somebody said it's going to be the shortest game played in the entire NFL all year
It
long
will.
because it's going to be nothing but running the football, running the clock. That
Yep.
clock will not. It's going to be just a fucking running clock
Well, I mean,
the whole game.
as all of us who live in the northwest or northeast area of the world right now, if the weather keeps up from now
Well,
until
it's supposed to warm up this weekend
Saturday,
a
it's
little
supposed
bit,
to be
but it's gonna
62
fucking-
here.
Yeah, it's going to be a fucking sloppy ass mess
It's
because of
gonna
all
be-
the snow and
And,
shit. So
But it's going to, like, we're on the opposite side of the state, obviously, from where, Baltimore would be located more towards Philly side.
no,
but
they're. Well, yeah, you're right.
yeah. So,
geography.
geography.
I had to think about it.
Yes.
driven the ball. To
It's just the
I
English
think about
language
that.
Jesse doesn't understand. He
I
understands
literally-
the
I got
argument.
everything
drove
else
through
down.
Harrisburg on my way to Baltimore, and I was like, maybe you're wrong. No, I'm an idiot.
But yeah, it's
like
gonna be a
over
sloppy
here, it's going to
stadium.
be 62 and raining, and I would imagine it's going to be pretty close to that down there as well.
The field's going to be really sloppy. It's going to be there's so much moisture and everything right now. I think it's just going to be a
The
slop
ball's
fest,
going to be
and they're going to be
schmutzing,
running.
is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, they're going to be
Good
running the
thing.
shit out of the ball. It's
The
going to be a
mud bowl.
low-scoring game,
mud
and
bowl.
I don't think it's going to like it'll be close because it's so low-scoring. But I don't think the Titans are really going to be like in contention to win.
Yeah. Andy?
Derrick Henry's going to go for over 200 yards, and the Titans are going to win.
You're going against your bracket.
I'm going against my bracket right now.
Wow. Titans lover. You hear that, Bill?
Kevin's no, but Kevin said it. It's going to be a bad weather game. It's going to be fucking wet. It's gonna
I
be
can see that.
soupy.
I can
Derrick
understand
Henry's
that.
going to go the fuck off.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I understand where you're coming from. We then have the Houston Texans at the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that these are two magical quarterbacks in this game. I think it's going to be a highlight reel filled game, but I think that Kansas City's defense has done nothing but steadily improve, and they're going to be able to get pressure on Watson and actually get him down. I think Kansas City comes out of this one with the win. Jace.
Didn't you just go against your bracket?
No, he had Kansas City going to the Super Bowl.
Who had Houston winning here?
Oh, Jace.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Sorry.
All right, Jace.
And here's my thing. I still don't think the Chiefs, even with that fucking spaghetti strainer of an offensive line they have, I don't think the Chiefs have enough of a pass rush to put enough heat on Deshaun Watson. I mean, obviously he's going to have heat on him, but it's going to be nothing like he saw last game where he literally was crawling out from under people and making passes.
Right.
I think DeAndre Hopkins has a really big game. Is Will Fuller going to play? Is he healthy? Does anybody know anything about that?
I don't know if it's ever if it's been confirmed or denied if he's going to be in the game or not. So
I'll look
I think
it
it's
up
still
real
up
quick.
in the air.
Yeah. But now, I'm really still, people are, you're going to call me crazy, but I'm still taking the Texans at Arrowhead.
Okay. All right.
You
Texans it
can't
is.
bet against Deshaun Watson
bold.
right now.
It's bold.
Kevin.
It's a bold move, Cotton. I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Bold move, Cotton.
All
Dodgeball.
right, Chiefs it is. And Andy.
I'm going to stick with the Chiefs as well. And it says Will Fuller trending towards game against Kansas City. So, I mean, he's
It's going to make a big difference.
looking good. Yeah,
Well, so
absolutely.
essentially
Can he
what's going to happen
still-
is he's going to play 2 plays in the cold in Kansas City, pull a hammy, and then he'll be out. So.
It's a valid argument.
Well, the unseasonably warm weather that's getting us will probably have just gone through Kansas City and still be there. So,
Yeah, but it can go through Kansas City, and then it can be like, you think Missouri would be a little bit warmer than us, but then it can go to like -10, and then the wind chill is like -60 in a matter of fucking.
well, it's supposed to be still like 50 degrees here on Monday, so I'm imagining it'll be halfway decent in Kansas City.
Yeah, we're having like.
Excuse me, I haven't started factoring in the weather into my fucking calculations this weekend. So-
That's why Andy has won
Dude,
everything.
I was going to say,
You
I
dick.
actually thought
You
about
dick
that.
fuck, whatever
Dick
the fuck you
fuck.
said. You
Fuck
dick
you,
fuck.
dick fuck. Fuck you, dick fuck.
All right, and then the last but not least, we have the Seahawks visiting Green Bay. This has been a matchup that has happened many times. We've seen it both ways. We've also seen the fail Mary. So, while we're talking about this game, I'm going to take Green Bay in this. But can I just say that DK Metcalf has proven what I was trying to say leading up to the draft when we all talked, that he is the best receiver in this draft. A lot of people yelled about his agility and shit. The guy took over that game.
I think we're going to have to rewind that beautiful bean footage because I don't remember you saying he was going to be good.
We didn't say it on podcasts. This was before the season, like when we were at the draft, I was loving DK.
He's on par with AJ
How
Brown.
how can you possibly say he was the best wide receiver in that draft when he's not even a Rookie of the Year candidate?
No, he's not, because running backs have really run that.
No, it is Rookie of the Year goes. There's 3
Josh
people.
Jacobs.
How many of those are in the postseason?
Josh Jacobs, AJ Brown, and Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
So there's 2 out of 3.
Wide receiver. I said wide receiver out of that
AJ
draft.
Brown. AJ
I
Brown
thought
is a wide
you just
receiver.
said Nick Bosa though.
That was the second
Well,
one.
no, but you're one of my point is you're talking about DK Metcalf's the best wide receiver out of this draft. AJ Brown is 10 times better than DK Metcalf.
I don't know. Yes, he's had really good games, but I think Metcalf is going to be proving that he's a better receiver. I think next year you're going to see Metcalf have a better year than AJ.
But I mean, the Seahawks have Tyler Lockett, and the Titans have like fucking Adam Humphries.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the thing. DK
Adam
Metcalf
Humphries was
might
a
have
big
a better
fat
statistical
contract
year.
this
DK Metcalf might have a better statistical year than AJ Brown next year, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's a better receiver.
All
It'd be
I
like
know
the
is
same thing as like the Juju having better stats than Antonio Brown a couple years ago.
I can understand that. All I'm saying is DK Metcalf may be my new Calvin Johnson pickup.
Oh God.
When I play Madden. But anyway, I'm going with the Packers on this one. Jace, what do you feel on that?
I'm going with the Packers as well. I love the Seahawks. I hate that it ends here, but
I'd like to see Marshawn get another run at the Super Bowl, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I will say I think Marshawn Lynch, I think he gets a touchdown in Lambeau in the cold, but
I think he's showing that he's still in football shape and he can still do what Marshawn Lynch does.
this game, the margin is going to be razor thin either way, but I think the Packers take it.
Yep. Kevin, what do you got?
Pass.
You were going to say the Seahawks, weren't you, you little son of a bitch?
No,
Seahawks.
I don't know. I really don't know on this one because I think Green Bay can run the ball effectively against the Seahawks, but I also think the Seahawks can move the ball on this defense a little bit. But then again, Aaron Rodgers and Lambeau and playoffs.
Yeah, that's why I'm picking the Packers on that one.
And that's probably why I'm going to lean towards the Packers as well. But this is going to be a tight game.
It's going to be a fun one to watch for sure.
I think this is the one of the weekend to watch.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look. The final. Oh, son of a B! My goddamn computer.
Honestly,
so old.
literally all of them are watchable. Other than I feel like the Vikings and 49ers is going to be a blowout.
Hey, just completely skip over me. Fuck it.
Yeah, where I was getting to it. Like the final, the final pick here. Andy, who do you got?
You know who I got.
No, we don't.
Oh.
Well, thank God you made such a big deal about all that for you to be like, you know why I'm here.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I took the Seahawks in my bracket, and I'm going to stick with them here. We talked earlier podcasts about this team finding out how to win games. I mean, they weren't pretty. They were ugly wins. I mean, even with their running back room and fucking shambles, I still think it's going to be close. It might come down to a field goal or something. Might come down to like a fucking big defensive play or big special teams play. But I think the Seahawks take it.
I hate the fact that I went with all 1 and 2 seeds because this wild card round has showed us that all the wild card teams won except for Buffalo, and they almost won that one. And like I said, they probably deserved to win that one with how well they played. So I hate the fact that I'm going with all the upper seeds, but it's usually the case when all the wild card seeds do make it. So I will post that up there. I want to give a shout out to Uncle Lonnie because we never shout him out. We didn't really.
Well, we still have our little tidbit things.
Just
too,
simmer down.
so.
Simmer the fuck down. Who runs
That's
the show?
end of the show shit.
Who runs the show?
We all run
One
the show.
thing.
Go fuck yourself.
I changed my mind. Jesse, if you're taking the Packers, I'm taking the Seahawks.
Okay. We will throw that in there.
Russ and roll.
I want to give good old Bill and Uncle Lonnie a shout out because Uncle Lonnie has been posting a ton of stuff on our webpage.
Fuck you, Uncle Bill. Lamar Jackson's going to get broken.
Let's hope. So
Supposed to be.
final thoughts. Everybody has, I think, a little something they want to say for final thoughts. So I'll start with you, Andy, on the Larry Fitzgerald because I teased it earlier. Go ahead.
Okay, so my buddy Jungle, Jesse's met Jungle. He's a good friend of mine. I talk football and shit with him all the time. Well, we were talking today about Larry Fitzgerald. If either one of us thought he was going to retire, how that was all going to play out. Then we started talking about how old he is, and I thought he was closer to 40, but it turns out he's 36 years old. So then that leads into fucking looking up stats on players over 40. Well, it turns out the receiving stats in the NFL for players over 40 is Jerry Rice has like 2,500 yards. It's something asinine. And then in second place, it's Tom Brady with 6 yards receiving. Every other player in the NFL that has played ever is at 0, and Brett Favre's at -2. So I thought that was just a fun stat that I could fucking throw out there somewhere. But Larry Fitzgerald's coming for fucking Jerry Rice, I'm hoping. We talked about that earlier, Jesse.
Yeah. I have a strong feeling that Larry, if he continues this route and plays till he's 40, will end up taking the records from Jerry, even though those records looked astronomical, like no one was ever going to touch them. If there's somebody out there that will, I think it's Larry Fitzgerald.
Barring injury.
Yeah, but barring, what could happen over the next 4 years.
What about DK Metcalf?
Shout out Jungle, by the way. Jungle. He's probably like the only other person other than like Lonnie and Bill that watch our podcast.
Oh, wow, Jungle watches? Awesome. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jungle. And then, Jace, you had a little tidbit about a weird story that came about over DraftKings. So,
Yeah,
this one's so weird, and I want to hear about it. So tell me what you got.
I'm kind of, to the 5 people listening to this, I'm kind of the gambling degenerate out of all of us. And I've done DraftKings, FanDuel Sportsbook, and all this betting and stuff is fairly new to me. For a long time in PA, all you can do is basically FanDuel and DraftKings where you are picking like your fantasy best lineup and shit like that. What happened was, it was really funny. I've been reading about this, and my girlfriend comes home the other day. She used to watch the episodes of The Bachelor with her roommates in college, and they saw this girl win the fucking Bachelor. And she walks in, and she's all chipper. She's all happy. She's like, "Oh, did you see that girl from The Bachelor won the $1 million?" I turn around, she's like, "She cheated. She's worthless." Essentially, what happened was the dude that picked her is obsessed with fantasy sports. Her Twitter's littered with just her bitching about how
God bless him.
Does. She had never once said anything about liking sports, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, this last Sunday, out of I forget what the possible lineups were and how many people entered the contest, but the DraftKings millionaire maker in the first round of the playoffs is very, very easy to get to, especially because, to explain it in short, when you're picking offensive players and defenses and kickers, normally you have a 16-game or a 14-game spread where you have 7 or 8 teams playing against each other, and you have to pick through these full rosters. The wild card game of the playoffs, you have a shortened amount of players that can win and a shortened amount of players that can do well. What this guy essentially did was he registered an account with his name and his wife's name. He made duplicate accounts essentially and duplicate lineups, but what he did to assure that he had a chance of winning the $1 million was using his wife's account, which obviously she wasn't into fantasy or any of this shit. He used all AFC quarterbacks on hers and used all NFC quarterbacks on his. She won the $1 million, and then all of a sudden goes out tweeting about how, she's a sharp and fucking her husband told her not to use DK Metcalf, but she told him he was wrong and all this other shit. And all of a sudden she comes out of knowing nothing and literally speaking zero about it and wins $1 million. So essentially what happened was, in DraftKings terms and conditions, you're not allowed to use more than 150 lineups or whatever the max lineup entry is. And this guy circumvented the rules by saying, okay, I'm just going to make an account with my wife's name, stick 2 computers or the same computer, whatever he did, run them side by side, and we'll figure out a way to win this money. But yeah, everybody was on Twitter congratulating him because it was like, oh, a celebrity finally won something like that. And it's literally, they got caught red-handed fucking cheating.
See, and I was saying this earlier in the podcast. I don't know that it's cheating. I think it's bending the rules, but I don't think there's anything they broke. There was nothing.
Yeah.
No.
First
laws
off, do you
broke
think they're the only fucking people out there doing it?
that have tried to do that?
And I told Jesse when you sent that out the other day, I told him you guys aren't going. You might not like my point of view on this, or you might, because my point of view on this is just it's a symptom of all the other bullshit that's going on in this fucking country. Where as soon as something happens, somebody looks for the fucking negative spin on the goddamn story, and how can we drag this motherfucker through the fucking mud? It's fucking stupid. It's a goddamn computer contest. We have no proof to say that she didn't fucking actually fill that shit out.
Now, hold up. Fuck you. Because as somebody who's played this for years, I will agree with you. This is something that has happened for a long time. You will go to the top like 4 or 5 or so, however many entries in contest, and you will see people that either have identical lineups or they have like 1 or 2 players tweaked. And you can look at it and go, there's a certain correlation where you can go, okay, these people are okay. And then you look at it, and when it's the same names week after week doing it, you go, these people are fucking cheating. You're absolutely right. People have been doing it for years, but this is the first time people have been so blatant and bold-faced in cheating. And because obviously from their celebrity standing and being on The Bachelor, everybody knew who the fuck they were before. Everybody was congratulating them just for winning it because of their celebrity status before everybody started going, hold on, the numbers ain't adding up. Something ain't fucking right here. So I do agree with you, but you're 100% fucking wrong.
It's fucking stupid.
Well, the fact of the matter is, they can give away that $1 million. They easily made like way more than that back with all the.
They could give that $1 million. They could take it from them and give it to the Australian Wildfires Fund or something like that. Do it for charity. It's you can put it in the gray area. The guy fucking cheated. I don't care what you say. There's somebody who's done this for this long and is
fucking stupid.
So many big fucking payouts by like a half a point because of like 6 or 7 dudes that all have the fucking same point spread or some bullshit. They cheated.
All right, and I believe it was Kevin had one last little thing he wanted to
actually
mention.
I got 2 last little things.
Okay, go ahead with your final
first
thoughts.
one is right now we have going on currently across the country is the Gardner Minshew tour. He is on his way home to LA right now, and he posted an Instagram story, and in this story he's wearing, I shit you not, a sleeveless Hawaiian button-up shirt, cut off jorts that were way above the knee, and no shoes. And as one of the analysts who was talking about it said, he looked like he had gone and shopped for clothes out of the bin behind the Goodwill to get his outfit ready. And he's in an RV.
From a Florida man.
Yeah, Florida man, borrowed from a Florida man. So he's now driving across the country in an RV to LA, rocking this outfit. And that's the most Gardner Minshew thing that I've heard all week. So,
what?
Go ahead, Andy. What do you have to interject?
Okay. To interject, this looks like any of my uncles at any fucking family gathering we ever had.
Well, that's what they said. That's what they said.
What the fuck's wrong with that? That's fucking. It's jorts. He fucking had the fucking New Balances on. He's killing it.
No, he didn't have no New Balances. He had no shoes on.
Fucking
no shoes on.
Kevin.
Okay, whatever. But jorts and a fucking cutoff. Who cares? My fucking.
Looks like half our uncles growing up.
Yeah, that's half my fucking family.
No, what they said is that he's actually gone full circle, and now he is traveling as Uncle Rico.
In the RV.
I have 7 Uncle Ricos. They have better mustaches than he does.
That RV is cheating. He needs to find a conversion van and sleep in it. If he's fucking, that's basically a mobile home on wheels for him. That's fucking
he's an Uncle Rico made good.
No.
Uncle Rico that actually did make it.
Uncle Rico would have made it.
And he did throw that ball over the mountains and into a starting job. Okay, the second thing I wanted to go into is starting last Saturday, I started something here with one of my buddies off of Xbox and Mixer, Smith Nation, Smith XNC. I'm going to be doing a color commentary with him on NASCAR Dirt or NASCAR Heat 4 going on for the foreseeable future on Thursdays and Saturdays. He's also allowing us to use that as a platform to like talk about what we do with the podcast and stuff like that. So anybody on here who's listening, go on to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can find all of his different links. It's Smith XNC. And thanks again, Smith, for allowing us to do that. And,
Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you to that guy.
but yeah, make sure you
Thanks,
hit his YouTube up and give him subscribe to him. It's free to subscribe on YouTube.
But
he wants
before
to get to
you do that,
1,000.
make sure you subscribe to us. And
Yeah.
then go subscribe to us.
Yeah, also free to subscribe to us.
Ka-ting.
Shout out to you, Kevin. Kevin's networking to get us.
Yeah,
He
he's
is
networking
networking.
to get us.
He's doing
get
the
some views.
legwork.
We
I
talked
think-
about it. We talked about it the other night. He's fucking
Future
killing
things to come this off season. We're probably going to do some like team outlooks and stuff, and have some guest speakers come in.
Yeah, I've already
We-
talked to
we
Smith.
have-
He's from North Carolina, so he would obviously be somebody who wants to talk about the Panthers.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
and
say,
then
I
we
bet you I
have-
can get. I want Jungle to talk about a fucking team. He'll pick a random
Yeah,
team
well,
and
And-
we
fucking.
have
kill
some
you with them.
people from like Texas. We'll talk about the Cowboys. We
Noah.
got some.
And me and
Noah
Jesse
will
said
come.
it the other night, Jace. Jeff Junk is going to have to be on the fucking
Jeff
podcast.
Junk's
to talk
doing the
about
Raiders.
He
Fuck.
can just have to come in and sit with you, and you guys can go on a Raider.
I was
rant.
about to say two things I want to say. We do need to do. Jeff Junk needs to make an appearance. We need to do like a Raider corner and just let him spew on what he's feeling this week because he's usually probably about right. And Andy, the other thing I did say, I do in the off season, if we're gonna be doing this, I do want to do like a small, maybe like a golf preview show, like a betting corner almost. and
Yeah,
maybe just do a little
just
bit on
spit
that
a couple
because
things and
We,
Even
me,
on
and
off
Amber, me and
weeks,
Andy are
on
the
off
only two
weeks
out
or
of us
whatever.
that actually watch and passionately follow golf, but all of us play it. So it's one of those things
Yeah.
where
By the
we
way,
we have a mutual, following in it, but
Yeah.
me and him get into it a little bit more.
Well,
than
you
the
know, you
other.
guys always can do all the Rage Sports shorts too.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You ever
At
want to
any
do
point in
that?
time.
Just record it, send it to me. Let me know.
Yeah, we
anyway,
talked about
real quick fact, and this is kind of off topic. I did not realize that Foxburg, where I currently live, hosts the oldest American golf course.
John Brosnahan's the fucking like club president of Foxburg Country Club.
I had no
I went
idea.
to school. I graduated from the school that's
No
like a
idea
quarter
this
mile.
place- Yes.
Idiot.
There's a sign that literally
is.
says it when you
It
drive to
is.
Foxburg.
John
Is it
Brosnahan's the
country?
fucking
Is it
It's a
the oldest
country
country
club.
club in America? I
Yeah.
don't know
oldest
the oldest
continuous running country club.
golf- Okay.
So
okay.
it is,
That
and
very
there's
well
some
may be
kind
right.
of Hall of Fame there too.
There is,
So-
and they play fucking what's that called, Jace? The fucking
Hickory.
hickory sticks. Yeah, they play that there.
Oh,
A
they
lot.
like the old. They don't use steel
Old,
shafts.
old.
They use the
Yeah.
old like
Hickory.
persimmon heads,
Yeah,
like old steel, and they use
with
like
the feather
pieces of
balls.
hickory
The
in
feather
between.
balls.
Yeah, it's the old balata fucking spun woven.
Yeah.
bullshit.
So anyway, we're gonna have to hit up this country club because it is open to the public. And
I fucking
we'll
used
have
to
is.
golf
there.
that course all the time. I played on the golf team.
We will- So we'll have to do an.
You
all
were on the
rage
golf
outing.
team. Why aren't you better?
Because I quit playing for like 8 years. And
We'll have
I
to do
just
an all the
picked
rage
it up
outing
again.
next year because I will be living over here in the summer, and we can just come back to my house and party it up afterwards. So,
With
it's
whatever
literally
wedding happens
2
to be going on
miles
next door.
from my house.
No
So-
shit. No shit. My sister got married there, and that place is fucking
Creepy.
nuts.
We need to plan it. We need to plan it on a weekend where we know there's going to be a wedding. So we can just play.
Yes, and then we can go crash the wedding
Literally,
I probably know everybody that's going to get married there. 'Cause it's like all
Literally,
people I
just,
graduated
I'm
with. and
picturing.
shit.
I have 4 screens on my phone, just 2 Vince Vaughns and 2 Owen Wilson.
Yes. All right. What was the one like?
It's my
Probably
first
should have said
Asian.
that on
maple
the
syrup
podcast.
conglomerate.
Yeah.
Like-
Probably should have said that on the podcast.
I love it when he's walking out with fucking Owen Wilson. I hope you're happy with yourself, you son of a bitch.
Did you motorboat him? You motorboat
Yeah.
the son of a bitch, you. Are they built for speed or pleasure?
That's a good one to end on right there.
All right.
Yeah,
So
go ahead and go for a walk while I go ice my balls.
Hey, we can play tummy sticks. We can go look at art.
All right. Well,
All right,
here's what
guys,
we're gonna do.
thank you
Y'all
so
go ahead
much.
And I'm gonna do the outro this week. Y'all
All
go
right,
ahead
do
and
it.
ice your balls for the next exactly 7 days and 7 rotations around the sun. We will be back to you next Wednesday with our divisional round recap, with our picks and our usual just insight and all the other bullshit you got to deal with all of us. This has been All the Rage Sportscast. I don't know why I decided to do this. This has
I
been
like it.
Jesse Baden,
I love
Andy
it. I
Stewart,
love it,
Kevin
baby.
Robinson, and myself,
YouTube, Twitter,
Jason.
Facebook.
And you all
Yeah,
have a
fucking
good
hit
night.
it all
Check us
up,
out
baby.
on
Hit it
Facebook.
all up.
Check us out on our Instagram and like us on YouTube. Check
Donate
our
some money on
Spotify,
PayPal.
our iTunes. Check us out. What's our streaming service? I can't remember.
Transistor.com. You can see us on our Transistor
Transistor.com.
link.
We're also on Weebly.com.
Weebly
We're on
is our
Weebly as
webpage.
well.
All of our
Check
links
us
are
out
there.
wherever you can, please, folks. Please like us. Give us some money to our PayPal so we can feed our significant others this week. It's been months. Thank you.
It's
You all have a good night, and as always, rage on.
Rage on, baby.
Boom!
Oh,
Jason's
Jason's
with a
killing it,
bang
baby.
boom right at the end. Thank you, everybody.
Love it.